For over a decade, Ann Curry was a constant presence on The Today Show until she wasn't. Curry has kept a relatively low profile since her abrupt exit from the show, leaving fans to wonder, what has she been up to? Behind-the-scenes drama is reportedly to blame for her being fired from the program. According to Brian Stelter's expose, Top of the Morning, Inside the Cutthroat World of Morning TV, Curry was allegedly run out by executive producer Jim Bell via Operation Bambi. The plan had 3 steps: convince Matt Lauer to renew his contract, remove Curry from the show, and replace her with Savannah Guthrie. Stelter also claimed Bell fostered a boys' club atmosphere behind the scenes of Today, which ultimately widened the personal and professional gulf between Curry and Lauer. The plan apparently worked, and Curry tearfully bid the show farewell. She said during her final Today episode,
"We're going to do great work, I hope, and we're being given the chance to do the work that most of us got into journalism to do."
Many believed her emotions during the announcement betrayed her true feelings, which Stelter described in the New York Times as sad and enraged. With that kind of bad taste in her mouth after decades of good work in broadcast journalism, it's no wonder Curry decided to step back and reevaluate her pursuits. Since Curry's exit from the show, it's been rumored that Lauer pulled the strings behind her ouster.
When people start to write articles about what might be wrong with the Today Show, you know where you should point the finger? Point it at me.
Then, a revelation that Curry shared after his 2017 firing raised questions about the timeline of events. In a 2018 interview with The Washington Post, Curry revealed that back in 2012, prior to her Today exit, a female staffer had come to her in tears, unsure of what to do after claiming that Lauer had sexually harassed her. Curry told the publication, "She was afraid of losing her job. I believed her. I told management they had a problem and they needed to keep an eye on him and how he deals with women." Curry hasn't publicly revealed much about how she really feels about Lauer. One likely reason why she hasn't said more is that she was made to sign a non-disclosure agreement upon her exit from Today. Not surprisingly, she decided to tread lightly when addressing the Lauer situation during an appearance on CBS This Morning. She said, "I can tell you that I'm not surprised by the allegations, but I can say I would be surprised if many people or women did not understand that there was a climate of verbal harassment that existed. I think it would be surprising if someone said they didn't see that." In January 2017, Lauer was still a dominant figure at Today and celebrating 20 years as co-anchor. There were multiple celebrations in his honor, including on-air festivities and a fancy dinner at New York's swanky Hunt and Fish Club. Almost all of Lauer's female co-anchors celebrated with him. Savannah Guthrie took a break from her maternity leave to pop in on the show and attend the dinner.
Congratulations, 65 years at Today. Wow. Oh, just 20? Okay. Congratulations, Matt.
Meredith Vieira also showed up to the dinner, and Katie Couric appeared on the show for the big anniversary. But one person who was noticeably absent from the celebrations was Ann Curry. It's not surprising that Curry wasn't eager to get back in a room with Lauer, considering their icy work history, and there could be a very good reason why she wasn't available. That said, such a reason was never made public, which only fueled the perception that Curry snubbing Lauer's 20th anniversary was a pretty sick burn. Less than a year after Lauer celebrated his 20th anniversary with Today, his career came crashing down when an NBC news staffer alleged Lauer sexually harassed her. He initially declared his innocence, but once an investigation launched by NBC brass began digging around, Lauer was summarily fired.
As I'm sure you can imagine, we are devastated, and we are still processing all of this.
The fact that he was terminated for cause and received no monetary settlement whatsoever spoke volumes. While some in the media suggested Curry would be celebrating Lauer's ouster, she was among those who recognized just how disturbing his downfall was. She told People, "I wish I could say that I was celebrating, but actually I immediately checked myself because I knew women had suffered." In fact, Curry expressed outrage over the fact that Lauer's alleged behavior was tolerated for as long as it was. She also insisted that she wasn't seeking retribution and took no joy in what had happened to her one-time co-anchor. She added, "I'm not a vengeful person. I know what it's like to be humiliated. I just don't want to play a part in anyone else's humiliation." 2 years after Lauer was fired, his reputation took an even bigger hit when former Today staffer Brooke Neville's shocking allegations were detailed in Ronan Farrow's 2019 book, Catch and Kill: Lies, Spies, and a Conspiracy to Protect Predators. Neville's told Farrow that Lauer sexually assaulted her in 2014, resulting in her being paid off with a 7-figure settlement. Lauer refuted Neville's claims, insisting the encounter was consensual, not forced. He said in a statement, "The story Brooke tells is filled with false details intended only to create the impression this was an abusive encounter. I've never assaulted anyone or forced anyone to have sex, period." Lauer also said in the statement that Neville's had been a fully enthusiastic and willing partner. Curry addressed the differing accounts provided by Lauer and Neville's when she took to social media to reveal that she wholeheartedly supported Neville's. She wrote in an X post, "Brooke Neville's is a credible young woman of good character. She came to NBC News an eager and guileless 20-something brimming with talent. I believe she's telling the truth, and that breaks my heart." When interviewed by Variety, Curry was asked if she would ever consider going back to morning television. She offered a blunt assessment of a job that required her to wake up long before the sun rose, admitting, "I don't miss the hours. I now recognize how much sleep I was missing." After her exit from Today, the mother of two was able to embrace a sleep schedule that was far less harsh. She told The Cut, "I usually wake up around 7-ish, which is much later than I used to."
I knew I was tired. I didn't know how tired I was.
She also noted that being away from the grind of churning out live television 5 days a week had significantly improved her work-life balance. That included getting regular exercise, one facet of her life that was lacking when she was anchoring Today. Curry added, "I work out now every day. I didn't used to get to do that." Her mornings, she added, became a lot slower, allowing her to read newspapers and even listen to some NPR if her schedule allowed it. The one thing she didn't do, however, was watch any morning television, including Today. She admitted, "I used to, but I stopped." Curry lost both of her parents to cancer 2 years apart in the mid-2000s. Since then, she has taken time out of her schedule to speak publicly about her experience as her parents' caretaker in the final years of their lives. Speaking at a February 2017 fundraiser for Tidewell Hospice in Sarasota, Florida, Curry compared her experience caring for her ailing parents to her long journalism career. She said, "As a journalist, you can see a great deal, unfortunately, of human suffering, and you wish that the world would move away from it. And as a caregiver, as somebody who has tried to help your parents suffer less from cancer, you also want to end their suffering. But there's a limit to what you can do, so what you have to do is love them more." In 2012, Curry was instrumental in getting the Today Show recognized by the National Hospice Foundation, so she's clearly made this cause a priority in her life.
How can I do work that is a force for good?
During her keynote address at the 2017 Festival of Faiths, Curry laid out what seemed to be the overarching philosophy of her entire life. While recounting decades of covering tragic conflicts all over the world, Curry spoke about how her work in journalism has inspired her to investigate the science behind the seemingly evil acts. The study of the psychology behind the horrors, such as genocide, the recruitment of child soldiers, and the crisis of refugees displaced by war, has led Curry to believe that the pursuit of compassion is the key to combating the darkness. It's heavy stuff, for sure, but not an entirely surprising position for a veteran international journalist to take. After all, the alternative would be sinking into despair over the state of the world.
Hanging on to anger weighs you down.
The point is, Curry seems to be on a mission to evoke compassion in her life and through her work. And if there's one thing TV ratings don't necessarily care about, it's compassion. Saddled with the age-old motto, "If it bleeds, it leads," TV news can be ice cold, so it's not a shock that Curry has distanced herself. In the closing statement of her address at the festival, Curry said, "I hope your compassion in all of your days to come lets you breathe deeper, be happier, live longer. I hope we all live long enough to see the next step up in humanity's rise, but even if I don't, I know it's going to happen. I hope, don't you?" That does not sound like the sentiment of a person looking to jump back into the frenzied, often vulgar world of the 24/7 news cycle. Curry returned to the air in 2018 with an original 6-part series for PBS called We'll Meet Again. According to a press release, the series brings together people whose lives intersected at pivotal moments, exploring history's most dramatic events through the personal stories of those who lived them.
I love people. I love talking to people. I love hearing and sharing their stories.
While speaking to the Television Critics Association, Curry said, "We'll Meet Again" accomplished her goal of focusing on impactful stories. She told the organization, "It's been fun to be independent because then you can really focus on what you want to do. I'm trying to do stories that I think are needed now, and that's actually been lovely." The series was renewed for a second season with an additional 6 episodes produced. Curry told KLCS that focusing on what happened after major world-changing events was eye-opening, especially for a journalist used to being on the scene as a story unfolded. She explained, "It resonated with me because it would allow me then to essentially tell the rest of the story." During the years she remained at NBC News following her brief tenure at Today, Curry was among the highest-paid journalists in America, with a salary reported to be $12 million per year. And while that's a pretty substantial sum of money, Curry has insisted that financial gain has never been a driving force in her career. Curry said on ABC News' No Limits with Rebecca Jarvis, "When your motivation is to make money, you are going to make decisions that are not good for journalism. A motivation that is impure affects what stories you do, what questions you ask, how it's edited together, potentially how it's written, how it was broadcast, who you choose to anchor it. All those motivations are not great motivations for journalism." That ethos was evident in one of her first major post-Today efforts, Chasing the Cure, a series for the TNT network that documented people with rare illnesses getting the medical help they need. The goal of that series was to help educate those who are being underserved by the American system and show how they can connect directly with physicians who can help. In Curry's view, the mission of a journalist isn't just to report the news, but to provide a voice to the voiceless and highlight injustice. She explained, "That is our job. We're supposed to shine light in places of darkness." In 2019, Curry appeared on the PBS series Finding Your Roots with Henry William Gates Jr., in which the host is joined by various celebrities to explore their family trees. Curry told the Television Critics Association of her involvement in Finding Your Roots. "PBS called me and asked me if I would do it. I said yes, because of my family mystery. That mystery," she explained, "involved her late father Bob Curry, who had spent his entire life without knowing who his father was. Anne herself had used her journalistic skills to try to find out, but was unable to find a paper trail that would lead her to an answer. Gates and his team of genealogical experts sprang into motion, and he was able to tell her the name of her grandfather. That big reveal made for a powerful television moment." Curry admitted, "I got so emotional when I found out, to get that information that he had pined for all his life."
That's wonderful to know.
By 2020, Curry's ouster from Today was far in the rearview mirror. However, as she confessed in a candid interview with Elle, the 8 years that had passed had not lessened the sting she still felt from that painful situation. She told the magazine, "The bottom line is that it still hurts. It honestly hurts really deeply because I really think I did nothing wrong." Looking back on what happened, she remained confused by the series of events that led NBC to not pick up her contract for a second year at Today, effectively firing her. She mused, "I still don't really understand. I know I was good at my job." When asked if she felt her expulsion from Today was connected with her warning superiors about Lauer's predatory behavior toward female staffers, Curry gave a response that was both cryptic and revealing. She said, "I think that many people have guessed why I was replaced, but I've held myself back." She went on to explain that she tried to get to the bottom of what happened and why, but had never received a satisfactory answer. Curry added, "If I had known what was happening in the back rooms of power, then I would know. I obviously was not in those rooms." In 2022, Ann Curry's career in journalism was recognized when she was chosen to receive a prestigious award from Washington State University. That year, she was selected to be that year's recipient of the Murrow Lifetime Achievement Award, presented by the university's Edward R. Murrow College of Communication. Curry gushed during her speech, "I can't tell you how deeply touching this is. This award is so prestigious precisely because it is named for a journalist with high ideals."
The challenge is to stand up and rise higher. And I think that that's really the journey of all of us.
In her speech, Curry also reiterated her commitment to be an advocate for the powerless, using her position as a journalist to do good in the world. She added, "My deepest wish was to be in a position to have a voice, that I could have the power to help other people who suffer and who have little or no voice." PBS launched Arts Talk in 2023, a new series devoted to discussions with artists. Episodes included talk show host Jimmy Kimmel chatting with actor Henry Winkler, musicians Rhiannon Giddens and Elvis Costello sharing stories, and Curry interviewing best-selling journalist and novelist Min Jin Lee. Lee, the Korean-born author of Free Food for Millionaires and Pachinko, opened up to Curry about the deeply personal attachment she has with the subject matter of her books. Curry demonstrated her skill at conducting probing interviews when she delved into the author's difficult past, asking Lee,
"All this pain that you experienced, is it what made you a writer?"
It shouldn't be surprising that Curry continued her involvement with PBS, given her admiration for the public broadcaster. Curry told KLCS, "I think PBS does quality work, so it's hard not to be involved in PBS projects if you want to do quality work." In April 2024, Ann Curry was presented with yet another honor, this time given the Damon Runyon Award by the Denver Press Club. The award, she said during her acceptance speech, was personally quite meaningful to her, given that her father was born and raised in Pueblo, Colorado. Curry's speech was also something of a rallying cry for the importance of journalism in an era of outright attacks on the free press. She said during her speech, "I have come to think that access to verifiable, unvarnished facts is critical to all people, no matter what kind of government they live under."
You know, journalism is not science. It is a human endeavor, a beautiful effort.
Her speech hit home with Marianne Goodland, a political reporter in Colorado and the then president of the Denver Press Club. Goodland told the Denver Gazette, "Ann Curry's speech on the value of journalism in our rapidly evolving landscape was inspiring and a welcome reminder of the importance of a free press."